Hey everyone, and welcome to our Career Spotlight. This is our special series where we break down some of the most exciting career paths out there for students and parents right here in India. This week, we're diving deep into a world that's a really cool mix of art, technology, and even a little bit of psychology, UI design.
I mean, come on. We've all been there, right? You're just trying to do something simple, maybe pay a bill or book a movie ticket, and you just get stuck. It's confusing, it's so frustrating, and it almost feels like the app is designed to work against you. Well, that feeling, fixing that is exactly what this career is all about. Just think about the difference, maybe checking your account on an old, clunky government bank website versus zipping through a payment on a modern app like HDFC or ICICI's. It's the same service, but one is a total headache and the other takes, 30 seconds? That difference, that feeling of, wow, that was easy, that is the magic of great UI design.
So what's our game plan for today? First, we'll figure out what UI design actually is. Then we'll spend a day in a designer's life, look at the skills and even the school subjects you'll need, and of course, talk about the job opportunities. And we're going to end with a pretty fascinating secret from one of the greatest minds in tech. Ready? Let's get into it.
Okay, first things first. What exactly is this career? Well, in a nutshell, it's all about making our digital world way, way easier to get around in. So UI stands for user interface, which is really just a fancy way of saying everything you see on a screen. The buttons, the colors, the layout, the text. But here's the key thing. A UI designer isn't just an artist hired to make things look pretty. Nope, they are problem solvers. Their main job is to constantly ask, how can we make this so simple, so clear, that literally anyone can use it without getting frustrated?
To make this all feel a bit more real, let's imagine we're following a day in the life of Priya. She's a UI designer working for a big fintech company down in Bengaluru.
Okay, so Priya's team wants to add a new feature to their app, something to track monthly expenses. Her process doesn't start with drawing. It starts with user research, actually talking to people to understand what they need. Next, she'll sketch a wireframe. Think of it like a simple black and white blueprint, just focusing on where everything goes. Then comes the fun part. Using tools like Figma, she adds the colors, the fonts, the little icons, like a tiny house icon for rent. After that, she builds what's called a clickable prototype. It's basically a dummy version of the app that looks and feels real, so you can tap and swipe. And finally, she tests it with real people to get their feedback and make it even better.
So here's the thing. When you finally use that new expense tracking feature and you think to yourself, wow, this is so simple, you'll probably never know Priya's name. But what you're feeling is the direct result of all her thoughtful, careful work.
So what does it take to become a designer like Priya? Let's open up the personal toolkit you're going to need.
It really boils down to 5 core skills. Visual thinking, which is about imagining how a screen should look. Empathy, for understanding the user. Attention to detail, for noticing all the tiny things that matter. Communication, so you can work well with your team. And, of course, adaptability, because tech is always changing.
And let's just zoom in on empathy for a second, because it's probably the most important skill of all. A great UI designer doesn't just ask, does this look cool? No. The first question they always ask is, will my grandmother be able to use this without getting confused? That focus on the user, well, that's everything.
So, how does all this creative and techie stuff connect to what you're actually studying in school right now? Let's take a quick look.
You know, UI design is this fantastic blend of different fields. Computer science helps you understand how the technology is actually built. Fine arts, well, that develops your sense of what looks good. Psychology helps you understand how people think and behave. Mathematics sharpens your problem-solving skills, and good old English is absolutely vital for clear communication. It's really the perfect career for someone who's both creative and logical.
Okay, let's talk about the big questions. The future, the demand, the salary. Is this a good career choice in India today? Let me tell you, the answer is a huge, absolute yes.
India is right in the middle of this massive digital boom. When you're just starting out, salaries for UI designers are typically between 3 to 6 lakhs a year. But with some experience, that can jump all the way up to 15 to 25 lakhs. And senior designers, well, they earn even more. The potential for growth in this field is just huge.
And just think of any major company you use every day. Chances are they desperately need UI designers. We're talking e-commerce giants like Flipkart and Meesho, fintech leaders like PhonePe and Razorpay. The demand is massive. These are the very apps and services that are shaping modern India. And on top of all that, with the government's huge Digital India initiative, there's a growing demand for designers in public sector projects too. As more and more of our lives move onto a screen, this career is just set to grow and grow. All right, to wrap things up, let's talk about the core philosophy of what makes design truly great. And there's a fascinating story behind it.
Take a second and think about it. Who is maybe the most famous, most iconic person in technology who couldn't write a single line of code? The answer? Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. He wasn't an engineer, but he's remembered as one of the greatest product visionaries in history. So why is that?
It's because he was completely obsessed with the user experience. You know, when Apple launched the very first iPhone, it came with no instruction manual. Zero. Jobs believed that great design should be so intuitive, so obvious, that it needs zero explanation. His philosophy was simple. If you need a manual, the design has already failed. That incredible standard totally changed the game. And it's the exact same principle that guides every great designer today. Whether they're at Apple in California or working at Zomato, Paytm, and Razorpay right here in India. The goal is always the same. Create something that just works.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Do you ever find yourself looking at an app or a website and thinking, this just feels off? Or maybe you ask yourself, why on earth did they put that button there? If you do, well, you might already be thinking like a UI designer.